All right, so ladies and gentlemen, on Victors with Victors, today we are at a very powerful place. Rakete Poderoso. Yeah, so I'm going to let our Victor introduce himself and then tell us what he does. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to be at your place and interview you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, and what a nice synchronicity that happened
I
today.
know. So tell us your name and what you do.
My name is Samer, and I work in therapy, natural therapies. I help people heal with plants, psychedelic plants and non-psychedelic plants, and food. And additionally, I work with sound therapies and Kambo. Kambo, you know, the frog medicine.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit about what I do and how I practice.
All right, tell us a little bit about plant medicine.
So plants in general, the way I see it, they are beings that are much more evolved than humans. So for plants, humans are like toddlers. We are like 4 or 5 years old. We are still believing our thoughts. There are still wars happening. There are still belief systems that are, you know, locking people in specific ways. And so plants come to us and they really help us. They help us heal, they feed us, and they help us grow in our consciousness. And the way they do that with vibration and frequency. So when someone is not okay, let's use that word, or has some sort of a disease or sick, whether it's physical or energetic or psychological, all of them in terms of energy, it's crossed energy. And so a therapist or a curandero, as they call them in Spanish, or a healer, is someone who has enough experience and knowledge with the plants that they know which plant they use to help that person realign that energy in that specific way. So sometimes someone who has a cancer, for example, you need to use plants that clean the colon and open the kidneys so that the filtering system starts opening up. On the other hand, if someone is not okay psychologically, it's a combination of a dieta, or like a plant shamanic dieta, or a psychedelic journey, or sometimes a hike to the mountain is enough. So it depends how they are used, but there are plants that are for every aspect and every dimension of our physical body, emotional body, and mental body.
How did you come into, when and how did you come into this enlightenment?
I don't know if I can pinpoint a time on that.
Right.
But you know, when you hang out, when you have more friends that are plants than humans, at one
Explain
point,
that. Yeah, that's interesting.
At one point you start to talk to them and they start to show you what they do. And when they show you what they do, it becomes like a matter of fact. Like, oh yeah, this person is not okay, you need to drink some Pedro.
Right.
You know, you need to do some combo. Your lymphatic system is stagnant. It's the mescaline-based cactus. However, my journey in starting all this started when I was in my early 20s, when I found myself in the jungle, drinking ayahuasca out of curiosity. And I realized that I was very, very sick and I wasn't okay and I needed help. And so I started coming back and doing ayahuasca, but back then I didn't know that there are other modalities to work. I used to think this is the holy grail and I found it and I need to stay here. A lot of people do that unknowingly. But over the years, you know, I started to learn herbalism, and when you practice more than 10-15 years with thousands of people, you start to see many cases. And this is how my consciousness was able to expand, because I was working with all these plants. I came to the Andes, I worked with San Pedro, which is Huachumo. I was in the jungle, I worked with ayahuasca, I worked with tobacco. There's another plant called sanango. So, not to mention that in the jungle they make you drink the water that where the tree barks are, and it's called a shamanic dieta with the trees. There's about 40-50 trees that I worked with. And so All these have titles, by the way. So you have an ayahuasquero, a huachumero, a palero, and over the years I got to have all these titles, even though I don't technically express them. It's just that they are part of the practice. And when you do all this, eventually you learn that there's a plant for everything, and there's a plant that heals you from whatever you have.
In just having this conversation with you, I just realized how deep you can get and much knowledge and information you have about plant and their vibration. How long did you stay in the jungle? And you mentioned drinking ayahuasca. Did you have guidance while you were drinking it, or you just got ayahuasca and
No,
drank it?
I didn't do that, and I don't recommend doing that. I don't recommend just, oh yeah, I found ayahuasca in the market and I drank it. It's definitely very, very dangerous.
Guide us.
Yeah.
Without guidance.
Yeah.
So, to answer your first question, I stayed in the jungle more than 11 years.
Wow.
Until I realized I need to leave the jungle.
Continuously?
To bring this powerful practice out here, right?
Yeah. This is where I became an ayahuasquero, and I was working hand in hand with very advanced shamans that were mestizos. They were not from the tribes. They were from the tribe of the people who were mixed, from the indigenous and the European. They called them the mestizo. And they became a tribe on their own. And they have practices that are very similar, but not the same as the other tribes like the Shipibos.
Right.
And I worked hand in hand with them, and I practiced with them. And I'm always very grateful for them, because when you start like a little kid. You're just making noise and breaking shit up. And they come and they correct you. And
No, I feel you.
so it's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, what did I do? I thought I did the right thing here.
Right,
Then
right.
they're like, no, this is, and then they show you why. And shamanism is not something you learn, it's something you become.
Right.
So you cannot go take a course for 2 weeks and become a shaman. You need to
Although there are courses that do that, which I've seen, which I'm not a big fan of.
They could teach you the tools, but
Yeah.
to really
Yes,
integrate
this
the
is very
tools,
important.
You need to sit and practice. There's like the 10,000 hour rule, where you need to practice something for 10,000 hours
Yeah.
until it becomes you.
Yeah, because nowadays we have Shapa shamans, is what I like to call them. There's people go to like a shaman program, get a little certificate.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a positive side to that, where it's because they are introducing shamanism to the world. But it takes a little bit more than that to become a shaman.
And what is
you
your
know?
take on all this bureaucracy? You come take my course and then you get a certificate. Especially that you were in the jungle for 11 years practicing and learning.
So, if someone if you know that mint is good for the stomach, it doesn't make you a herbalist, right? But you can learn in a course that mint is good for the stomach.
Right.
So these courses, they give you all these tools, but how you integrate them, how you practice them, how they change your psyche, this is a whole different story. There are courses that are 2-week courses, as you mentioned, but there are courses that are an extension of 4 to 6 years, where you meet your clan and your group and you work together. So some people are doing good work, but like in everything, some people are just in it for the money, which is
Yeah.
expected as well.
Yeah.
Now, to get to your very important question that you asked me, it's very important to know who you are working with. Because when you're working with psychedelic plants, you're coding consciousness. You are literally changing the aspect of how the person thinks. And that could literally change the direction of a whole life. And it can be very, very delicate, and it can cross energies in a way that only another shaman knows how to fix it. And I have a lot of people who come to me that need fixing from previous ayahuasca ceremonies. And so either go to someone that a friend of yours knows, or find a center that has a good reputation.
Right.
And you know, they have like a lot of people a lot of years in the market, and so you know at least that if you're not there for the specific healer, at least you're in a place where you are well taken care of,
Right.
and you're not gonna just go crazy because something in your psyche just completely went out of whack.
Right. It was very powerful when I heard you say you're very grateful to the people who taught you and guided you. Because
course.
one of the themes for my travel has been attitude of gratitude, even with the workshops that I've been doing. And I'm just curious to understand. Now, I've met a lot of people, and I think what I really appreciate is people going back to the old days, finding old medicine. God, it was beautiful, and it was also powerful. And I've also been meeting people who are coming back to Peru and doing, like the old farming ways. I'm just curious to understand, as a healer and as a plant medicine healer, what is your take on the new system of the pharmaceutical medicine?
This is a very dangerous question. It started good, and I was like,
He thought you were going somewhere else with it.
okay, the old ways are not necessarily the good ways.
Mhm.
It's very important to mention that.
But also not the bad ways.
However, they're not the bad ways. Now, the beauty of the old ways is that they were based on experience.
Right.
And so, over generations and generations and generations of planting and growing and learning how to do things, because if we do it this way, that thing will happen. I think in that there's a lot of power and a lot of value.
Right.
And this is where shamanism comes in. However, the new modern ways, there's a lot of different understandings that are very, very much needed. Like if someone has a broken arm, I don't tell them come drink ayahuasca. I tell them go to the hospital.
Right.
Understand? So I think a blend of the old and the new in a way where we have a good awareness about what we're doing is very, very important. I think the problem in the modern ways is that everything is becoming much more commercialized.
Right.
And geared towards using humans and all the beings of the earth really as items and numbers that are valued in money. And I think that disconnects us completely. And when it comes to pharmaceuticals, I mean, it's a synthetic version of what the plants have.
Right.
So if you know the plants, you don't need the pills. That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
I don't want to go deeper.
That's a smart way to go about it. I mean,
I'm
if
trying
I
to
was,
be as diplomatic as possible.
I appreciate that and I understand. But also, I think it's really amazing to see you as a plant medicine healer talk positively of the pharmaceuticals, because there's rigidity in the pharmaceutical side.
Right.
That most of them would be like, but like you're saying, the good side about this is it's based on experience.
Right, exactly.
Right. My last question as we close. Relax.
Don't make it a dangerous one.
All right. What is your most memorable experience of a healing process that you have participated in and you were like, whoa, I didn't expect this? Without mentioning names.
There are many. There are
Yeah.
many because when you're practicing in shamanism and in plant medicine, there's a lot of miraculous things, or so-called miraculous things that happen. I've seen people healing from cancer on the third ayahuasca ceremony. And I was taking part of the healing. I personally supported at least a couple handful of people just by a detox and a couple of tinctures of herbs to heal from arthritis and
Right.
cancers. I think the most impressive thing and the beauty of natural medicine is that there are times where the doctors tells you are terminal, you're gonna die, there's no solution.
Right.
And most of these people find themselves coming towards someone like me. And most of these people do survive and do heal. And I think this is the most beautiful thing, is that there is hope when we go back to the earth. There is hope when we are connected back to the plants that are connecting us to ourselves.
Right.
Really.
I really feel the passion and the love and the information and the connection you have for what you do.
Thank you. It's who I am.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, because I'm also a movement therapist, but it can be heavy because I know you're dealing with energies.
Yeah.
What do you do for self-care?
Yes, this is something actually I talk about often, which is maintenance practices.
All right.
I wake up, I meditate every day. I have my yoga. I work out at least 3-4 times a week.
Nice.
I eat fruits and vegetables mainly. I try to follow only raw diet. However, sometimes I love my potatoes.
When you say
Where I
raw
have
diet, what do you mean?
My belly potato.
And you are in the land
like
of
eating
variety
without-
of potatoes.
Yeah, exactly. I found myself here. It's like eating without cooking. You eat your
Right.
salad, you eat your fruits,
Oh,
you have your
right.
juices, but you don't have anything that you cook. Because when you cook something, most of the energy field or the spirit
Right.
is pulled out with the fire. So you have like just 10% of the energy field that you need. So when you eat raw, you're eating all that energy, which is spirit. I think the mountains play a big role in keeping me sane. I hike the mountains at least 2-3 times a month.
Wow.
Even if I'm not on a retreat, I just go either alone or with friends. Yeah, so I do a lot of maintenance practices, mainly body movement and food.
Oh, nice.
This is it.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me. If next time, I hope I'm coming for a healing process.
Yeah, you would be very
Yes.
welcome.
If a friend of mine from Kenya or the US or anywhere wanted to come to take a practice with you, how long would you recommend?
I do offer retreats,
Okay.
and the retreats usually are 9 days. I do sometimes 7 days, but
Okay.
usually they are 9 days. They include 4 ceremonies, San Pedro, Cambo. Other retreats might include San Pedro and ayahuasca.
Oh, nice.
Some retreats include San Pedro and hiking. So I mix them according to the seasons. Like now we're starting the dry season, so it is safe to be on the mountains without getting hit by a thunder.
Okay.
And so we do like 3-4 retreats where we go. We do ceremonies in the ceremony space, but then also we do ceremonies on the mountain. So you can just go online, either to my website and book, or you can find me on Instagram.
Instagram, what's your Instagram?
I have a link tree, and then it connects you to the
The
website.
website.
My Instagram is @Shaman Samer.
@Sharman
Summer.
Sama.
Samer.
Oh, all right. We'll drop the link on the bio.
Sure.
Yeah, you can follow him, and also if you want to do a retreat with him, spare 9 to 10 days to come here in Peru. I've really experienced power here, and I'm very grateful for having me here. Thank you very much. I
Thank
look
you very
forward to
much.
seeing you in future. Asante
Thank you
sana.
very
We say asante sana in Swahili.
Okay, Asante Sana.
Yeah. Thank you very much.